many people refer to TakeDownMan as the OG or godfather of the deep web / dark web genre, in which he pioneered in the mid 2010s. Having covered the unfiltered no man's land known as the deep web for many years, TakeDownMan has found himself in conflict with many groups that pride themselves on degenerate behavior. Many of these people took the fight to him over the years, such as Vorsk, a man with connections to Snuff R73, 222, and others. Now, as we know, online bouts bring online controversy, and TakeDownMan is no stranger to it. Video after video was made from detractors and self-proclaimed exposers, airing out personal information and uploads that are now lost to time. With this being public at a point, I, as well as many others, question his authenticity, but I'm the only one that reached out to him, and he initially decided against it. But after someone sent him my Snuff R73 video, which included the name Vorsk, he then changed his mind and sent me receipts. I then asked for an interview once again, and he would accept it, and the questioning began. This interview focuses on TakeDownMan sending me empirical data / information on these groups and degenerate YouTubers he took head on. Many other things were covered as well, but they did not make the final cut and are available on my Patreon, fully uncensored and uncut. Enjoy. I'm very upfront with how I feel, and I'm very upfront with what I'm gonna do. And we talked last night. Me and him talked. We went over a couple of things last night. And right now I have some topics. We may and or may not have some people in the audience asking him questions. May or may not, depending on how long this drags out and how much time he has to spare. Okay? So essentially, he also reached out to me on Twitter. This is how this got started. I reached out to him for an interview. He denied it at first. He then saw my Snuff R73 video, and he was like, yo, I know that Vorsk guy. The Vorsk, Snuff R73, Vorsk is a real man. Okay, that's what TakeDownMan told me. He sent me empirical data that Vorsk is a real man. Okay? He sent me old psych ward forums and shit like that. Yes, this guy is a real guy. Vorsk is a real guy. Okay? And he may be the creator of Snuff R73. He may be. That's what we're going to go over today. And he has empirical data we're going to be going over. We're going to be going over Vorsk. We're going to be going over Snuff R73. Certain groups that he was a part of, like 222. What is the point of the groups? Clinton Seals, Psych Ward Forums. We're going to be going over Master Chan, YNC, Ogrish, Best Score. We're going to be going over him being flagged to oblivion. Deep Web shit. We're going to be going over, his Disney signing. We're going to be going over other things on the deep web. We're going to be going over, how did he start? We're going to be going over another YouTuber known as Surviving Life. If you don't know who Surviving Life is, I did some research last night. Hold on to your ass cheeks. Surviving Life, Burns Show, how Burns Show live reacted to child material? Apparently Surviving Life did that years before Burns Show did. Yeah. Oh yeah. So we're going to be talking about Surviving Life today. I did some research on him. So Surviving Life, again, was a guy who was live reacting to illegal child material years before Burns Show did it. We're going to be talking about that today. We're going to be talking about other illegal material and how it came to be, and, discussions of it on the deep web, other forum sites on the deep web, and things like that. Yeah. All right, man. How you doing? How's everything going?
I'm good, man. What's going on?
You already know, I pretty much sent you a decent list of things I'm going to be asking you about. If anything, I would just some answers and shit like that, and we're just going to take it from the top there. And if you are willing to do so, answer some questions from the crowd after the fact, but we do have a hefty amount to go over. And one thing I will say, before I start the interview or start any questions, and you want to give information on it, what would be the chances that after this interview, depending on how it goes, that you'd be willing to do a follow-up or anything else for extra information?
I mean, that's fine.
All right.
I'm good either way.
All right, cool. Let me turn your voice up a little bit, just for everybody to hear you better. All right, so here's my question. With Snuff R73, when you saw my video, what was your initial reaction on it when you saw it? Because I saw that you tweeted me after you saw it. What was the initial reaction on that?
Well, my initial reaction, honestly, was somebody sent me your video. And they were like, hey, remember Vorsk? I was like, yeah. They were like, wasn't he like the Snuff R73 guy? And I'm like, I don't know. I know he had it on his YouTube. And he was around in 2014. And they said the Snuff R73 didn't come out till 2015. So
okay,
that's what I was trying to do.
So when it comes down to it, who the fuck is Vorsk? Who is that guy? You know, I've heard his name get thrown around. I didn't even know Vorsk was a person until you told me. I thought Vorsk was just some like French word. Because when I first heard about Snuff R73, a French guy was talking about it on a forum site, and it was all in French. I had to translate it to English. So I just thought Vorsk was a French word. No one knew about it. But now you're telling me that it is a guy. And again, everybody, he sent me empirical data proving that it is an individual who was on forums back in the day in 2015. So who is Vorsk?
All right, so Vorsk, basically, he was a dude that was in that group called the 222. He was he was more into like the stuff. He was also into the, so that's what he was known for.
Okay.
And whenever I first got alerted to him, everybody kind of was like freaking out about this guy. He didn't really have many subscribers or anything at the time. He had maybe like 300 or 400, but all of his content had been up for like over a year, which I don't know how it stayed on YouTube. I mean, back then though, there was a lot of crazy stuff on YouTube. But
when you say his content, what was he uploading to YouTube? What was Vorsk uploading to YouTube?
A lot of kids getting belt, like kids with black eyes crying, like little kids, like, you know, maybe like 2-3 years old.
So
they were like little kids.
He was uploading like 3 to 4 to 5 minute videos of children being hit by adults. Yeah. Would you say this was around 2015, 2016, right?
No, this was in 2015 at the beginning.
Okay.
I was notified. Okay. Those had been on there for like a year. So they had been there since 2014.
Okay, so this is even before that, and
which is why we couldn't understand how it was still up. How like YouTube didn't take it down.
How long were these videos?
They were between 3 to 5 minutes long, and there was one that was like really long.
Okay.
It was probably between like 15 and 20 minutes, but it had like music to it and all that, and then it like showed like a bunch of like still shots of kids that were like crying, and then all of a sudden it just like went off of that and showed this lady just like the actual buckle end, and I turned it off. Like I ain't gonna lie, I couldn't watch it.
So here's
but there was a lot of other people that did.
Here's because again, with everything you're saying, and everybody in the, you know, there's one guy who's still trolling inside my comment section, which you're going to get banned if you continue this. He has sent me empirical data as of right now. All he's doing is reiterating stuff to me that he's already proven to be true to me behind the scenes. He's already sent me receipts. He's already proven this to be true. So it's not a matter of if or what. No, he has proven this stuff to be true. I'm just asking him these questions in a manner so he can go ahead and regurgitate the evidence and regurgitate his answers that he's already told me behind the scenes. He's already told me this stuff. It is
and not only that, anybody who goes on your Twitter can see it because I left it in a reply.
Exactly. He also left the Psych Ward forums as well. So now here's my other question. Now, when it comes to Vorsk, you're saying that he did in fact upload child abuse content where kids were being hit with belts, which again, he has a pattern of doing something like this.
Belts, now, kicked, paddles, switches, everything.
Here's the thing. Has he ever uploaded illegal child material? You know what I'm talking about? Like child, you know.
Yeah, no.
He's never uploaded that? Okay.
No, I've never seen that.
Okay. So when it comes to Vorsk, did he have a purpose necessarily, or is it just demented behavior?
It was demented behavior, but at the same time, he was always looking for sympathy. Like, he's like, you know, I'm a person too, but this is just what I'm into. He would like show like kids that were like autopsied up, stuff like that. There was only one that somebody did say, but it was on some forum, and I refused to go on it because of what was on it.
Okay.
And I mean, I told you that last night.
Yes, you did.
With the little girl with the finger thing.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if that's appropriate to say on YouTube or not.
So this is what TakeDownMan told me behind the scenes. There was a picture that Vorsk uploaded on a forum site on the deep web, and the picture was a little girl who is no longer with us, right? Because she had passed, and her finger was removed and jammed into herself. TakeDownMan never saw this, okay? This is what people were going around speaking about because it was a big thing that Vorsk was posting this type of stuff on forum sites, okay? So when we say that this guy is sick, or when TakeDownMan comes out and says, yo, this is a sick individual, this is the type of rap sheet that follows him. Okay.
But
So I'll describe it. I'll describe it the best I can. So essentially what TakeDownMan is telling me is that someone had texted him and alerted him that it was Vorsk who uploaded this content, correct? Or
yeah.
okay, so essentially what TakeDownMan is telling me that Vorsk was on a deep web forum, which again, he has proven that this guy's a forum rat. He's always on forums. He was on the Psych Ward forums that he did send me. Vorsk was uploading illegal child material on, not on YouTube, but on a deep web forum of a girl who was and had parts of herself put into herself, and that people were telling him about it and saying, hey, you should check this out. And TakeDownMan being himself, he said, no, I'm not going to go look into this shit. You guys are sick. Don't tell me about this. He essentially said, no, I don't want to know any more about this shit. But that's the person who Vorsk is. Again, the guy whose name is attached to Snuff R73, the 11-minute mixtape that is about children inside of Syria and different wars inside the emergency room and autopsy photos of babies. And you got to understand this. He sent me Psych Forum, which I will be going over in a video. It was forum pages of a Psych Ward forum in which this guy named Vorsk back in 2015 was talking about how he has feelings about which is the name of Snuff R73. It's called Snuff R73, in which he was stating that he was stating that he isn't and that he makes makeshift dolls and abuses them and rips them to pieces, and that he started falling out of love of doing it, so he started to recondition himself to like it more. This is who Vorsk is. These are forum pages from 9 to 10 years ago. So before some people start saying this isn't true, these are forum pages that are 9 to 10 years old. This is not something you can fake last week. Okay, this is not something he can make up in a week and say, here, ColdRaven. This is shit that's 10 years old that has been sitting around. Okay, and he's not the only person I've heard talk about Vorsk at this point, now that he's brought him up. So going off of that, let's talk about his group. What's the name of his group?
It was 222.
Okay.
It was called 2 is Too Young to Die. They're all hardcore. It's a really weird combination. I mean, like, really weird combination. Like, these guys are into, the sickest of... I mean, it's bad enough to be into kids, but it's worse to...
Yeah, you're talking about there's another layer of hell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course, Vorsk was always like, well, I don't want to hurt a kid. I'm trying not to hurt a kid. I want, I wish that the one that I told you about, he's like, I wish they'd have put her on my doorstep. I'd have took her inside and never told anyone. And I would have kept her and loved her and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah. But, yeah. That's a...
This dude was crazy.
Yeah. Jesus Lord. Yeah, I forgot to talk about that. So, essentially, remember how I just went over people that girl was on, I guess a front doorstep, and they were telling, TakeDownMan about it. TakeDownMan's like, I don't want to look into that. I don't want to see that. Vorsk commented on that. Not only would he upload it, but then he was saying that he wished he had taken her into his house and he would have kept her around. AK kept the of a deceased little girl, and he would have defiled her. This is what Vorsk wanted to do. The guy whose name is Vorsk, and he was making, essentially, we're not sure. This is something we're going to talk about later. If you don't know what means to be, attracted to the dead, is to be attracted to children. This guy's attracted to children, which he has admitted into Psych Ward forum sites, which TakeDownMan has sent me those Psych Ward forum sites, and I've looked through Vorsk's comments, and I read them on the last stream. Incredibly disturbing shit. Now, going on from that, 222, how many members would you say is inside that group, and is Vorsk the leader?
There was a few thousand. I don't know if he was the leader, but he was one of the main posters. He was a moderator on there. I know he was a moderator. I do remember that. I remember him trying to talk to me back in the day. And I mean, the thing's been taken down since then, unfortunately, but he actually was like, well, they're already, I didn't them. So what does it matter? He's like, what are they going to do? They're just going to bury him and they're going to go to waste. And I'm like, dude. He was like, yeah, the more maggots in them and blah, 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 the better they're going to be. And he was into some really, really, like, he was one of the most demented ones there. And he was one of the main posters there. He was one of the main people that were coming up with ideas. But in that, they would talk about how to actually, like, get children to trust you and stuff like that so they could take them. And how to get away with it, how to make sure nobody knows, how to make sure nobody sees you, like everything.
It's funny.
And they were all really into that whole JonBenet Ramsey mess too. They were all really into that.
JonBenet Ramsey. That name does ring a bell. Can you go into JonBenet Ramsey? That sounds incredibly familiar.
Yeah, she was. I'm not really sure how old she was. I remember she was a little girl. They dressed her up like a grown person for like that child modeling or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And she had gotten kidnapped and.
Oh.
And.
Okay, yeah, I know what
to
you're
this
talking
day,
about.
I don't think they've ever found her actual killer. They've had like suspicions of who it is, but they never found out.
It was for those pageants, right?
And yeah.
Okay.
And supposedly, and I don't know if this is true or not because people make up stuff all the time, but supposedly, the guy that did it was a member on 222.
Okay.
And he did like this whole expose of how he did it, when he did it, why he did it, and all that. And but I don't know if anything ever came from it besides this dude just saying he did it.
I got a question now. What forum site was these kind of conversations? Like, what was 222? What was their little hive? What was their little get together? The little tree that they put their hands on for safety? What was their site?
It was Master Chan.
Okay. Let's hold off to that topic because I do want to talk about that later. Clinton Teal.
Yeah.
Does that name ring a bell? Because when it comes to Snuff R73, it is said that Clinton Teal is kind of like an amalgamation of a small group of people going under a pseudonym and that they call themselves Clinton Teal. Have you ever heard of Clinton Teal at all? Yes or no?
I have only heard about him from you.
Okay.
Like ever since 2019, I've kind of left like a lot of that stuff alone. Like my YouTube got like taken down for a whole year, and I finally got it back. They terminated the channel is what they did, and I got it back literally just to have my old videos up. Oh. And I wasn't really interested after that because everything I've seen in the past is just really weird. So
yeah,
I mean I've seen a lot of really cool stuff. Like Intel Exchange, Galaxy, stuff like that. You know, that's all really cool places. All the hidden history, science, Tesla ideas, stuff like that was awesome. But then you got people like this. And they tend to really just thrive in places like that. So
I got a question here. You sent me those psych ward forms of Vorsk, proving that Vorsk is in fact a real man. You sent me very good evidence to prove that this is in fact a real individual. You've also sent me videos, proving that this guy is a real person. Besides those psych ward forums, would you happen to have your hands on any other forums or not?
See, I don't know because a lot of the deep web stuff he was on is gone. Whenever like a lot of the hosting things went down with that big FBI bust, a lot of those websites went down that he was on. They're probably on my Facebook fan page somewhere, but it's so long ago, it's like hard to scroll down like that. I found that one. Because as soon as you said that name, I remembered Vorsk. Oh. I was like, I remember that name. So I had to I scrolled through my pictures because I remember taking a screenshot and putting it up. But there's other stuff about him on there. There's stuff that people have commented about him on there, but it's way down. And honestly, I can't get that far down scrolling without it taking forever.
I actually, it's funny you say that. I looked up TakeDownMan Vorsk, and it did lead me to your old Facebook page, and I did find a post of you talking about Vorsk back in 2015. So again, everybody, what he is saying is in fact true. This is shit from 10 years ago. Unless TakeDownMan is a fucking time traveler, and he knew this conversation would happen, and he prepared ahead of time. There's no way. It is just impossible, So, okay, we went over...
Yeah, no, as soon as I heard that name, the dude was just so messed up. It was an easy name to remember. It just really was, because at that time, I'd never heard of anything like that. So, like, he was the one who literally, I guess, was the introduction to all that really weird, messed up stuff.
I got a question here. When it came between you and Vorsk, who called out who? Was it him going after you first, or was it you exposing him for who he is first? What led to that?
Well, everybody was telling me about him, but like at the time, like the Wednesday he was on, I didn't want to go on because I was worried it was illegal stuff.
Okay.
Then out of nowhere, like I went after, I talked about the 222 is what I did. I did like a little documentary thing on him. And he was the first one to come on. He was the first one to respond. And then I just noticed, I was like, well, he's got a YouTube account. So I, looked him up on YouTube. And that's when I saw the really weird videos. So then I called him out.
Okay.
And maybe, I mean, dude, he had so many strikes. They took so many of his videos down. Because, whenever you report a video, YouTube sends you a response saying, we, found whatever on this video. We took it down.
Yeah, and you get a strike.
I had so many of those. Yeah, I've had so many of those. And his channel wasn't gone. It was weird. I'm like, how in the world does this guy have 5 or 6 strikes and he's still up? But then I noticed with this whole group, it was a constant thing. Oh. Then back then, though, there was YouTube Heroes. I don't know if you were around back then or not.
That sounds
But if you knew somebody that was a YouTube hero, even though you would constantly get videos flagged, they could keep your channel up.
I did hear about that, yeah.
They were all like regular YouTubers, like me and you. But they actually had like another board that would keep people up.
Okay.
So
now I got a question. How active was he on the deep web?
He's very active on Master Chain. He was very active.
Okay.
I mean, he had probably a good 6,000-7,000 posts
on Master Chain.
On Master Chain, because you can click people's name whenever it was a thing.
So it's like
you
Reddit.
can actually click somebody's username and look them up, and you can see the number of posts they have.
So it's kind of like Reddit in a sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Well, I mean, it was built like 4chan back in the day.
So I got a question.
Like 8chan, 4chan, all those.
Yeah. How many channels did Vorsk have, if you were to say, on the clear net? Because I mean, if he's uploading blatant child, kids getting. How many channels do you think he went through during this time, and or if he was always on that single channel? Because as you said, YouTube Heroes. What was it? Was it like a whole bunch of channels, or just this one channel?
Well, after we exposed him and they took the channel down, he just kept making them.
Okay.
He would make another one and another one and another one and another one, and it got tiring, to be honest. And every time it would have a lot of people on it though.
Okay.
It took him no time to get those subscribers back. And then it was in the thousands because me not thinking about it back then, I'm thinking I'm doing a good thing. Really all I'm doing, I'm putting this guy out there, and all these other sick people who got the same kind of demented things are following this guy now.
Yeah.
So whenever you think you're doing something good, you're actually not.
I got a question now. When it comes down to it, how did you know? Because you sent me the forum telling me he was from Canada. How did that information, him being from Canada, how did that leak, and how did you find that out?
Because the person that made him check in to the asylum is a person that knew them personally.
Okay.
And they were just writing us to let us know and stuff like that yes, he's from Canada, because somebody else, I guess, was sending him something, and they used Wireshark to figure out like the location that he was around.
Yeah.
And they had figured out that he was in Canada.
So how did you find out in 2019 that he was, in fact, people don't understand this. So Vorsk was apparently admitted into a psych ward in 2019 and has not been heard from since. How did you find that information out?
Basically that was the year that person put that out.
Oh, Vorsk.
And they said that he was checking into an asylum and stuff like that. And after 2019, we never heard anything else about him.
Okay.
Now, I mean, that doesn't mean he's not free. He could be under another name, because that name got really popular. So, like, he could have just changed his identity.
Now I got a question here. When it comes to mixtapes, I'm not sure if you're aware, so let me go ahead and run down what a mixtape is. A mixtape is pretty much a compilation of footage, whether it be funny footage or, in our case, there is, Snuff R73, which is an 11-minute mixtape comprising of 21 clips of children getting hurt, aka. How aware were you of mixtapes back in the day, and were they a common occurrence of people making, videos of compilations of children being hurt and, gory things back in 2015, 2016?
Well, back then I wasn't really, I was kind of new to all that stuff. So, but I mean, there was like what y'all call now mixtapes. We just call them compilations, but they'd have like crazy music or whatever, and then it would just show like really messed up stuff. It would show gore. It would show stuff like that.
Yeah, that's actually
like
essentially what it is.
Over and over.
Yeah, that's actually exactly what it is. That's it to a T. Yeah, so I guess you do know about mixtapes. Is there any of them that you saw? Like, have you ever heard of? It's called MD Pope, most disturbed person on planet Earth.
No.
Okay.
Like I said, I don't go looking for this stuff.
Okay.
I really don't.
Nah, that's cool. That's cool. I understand. I mean, nobody wants to sit down and watch, an hour to 2 hour compilation of some of the most demented shit. So you also said that this group named 222 had flagged you to oblivion. What were they flagging?
Oh yeah. They were just false flagging, and that's how I was able to get the channel back. But there were so many. There was like thousands of flags on each video.
Okay.
And it's how they would do it. They would all say, okay, on this time, flag it for this, and write this in the description of the flag. So it was all the same, and since it's all the same, YouTube's automated.
Yeah.
So whenever it's all the same, it automatically comes to terminating your channel. And then it's what they have to do, because at that time I had like 700 videos on my YouTube.
Yeah, I've noticed
so
that.
So it was down for a year.
Yeah,
and whenever I got it back, there was only like 300. So I don't know where the other 400 went, but they had to manually review each one for me to get my channel back.
Yeah, I've noticed that, now that I look back at your channel, it's pretty much a fucking ghost town to what it used to be. And it's like there's huge gaps and months. And it's like you got pretty much ransacked by this group, which, again, it's hard not to believe. To the people inside the comment section, it's hard not to believe it. Because, again, I was an avid watcher of this guy back in 2000 and I want to say 14, 15, and 16.
I went from, 300 million views down to 25 million?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that kind of says it.
And I could probably look into Social Blade and see if it does compare, which, again, as someone who watched you and you were uploading very often, everything was just gone. I'm like looking through, I'm like, yo, what the fuck? It's like an entire year of videos missing. I'm like, yo, what's happening?
Because I used to make a video, like 1 or 2 videos a day.
Yeah.
I was like really involved with YouTube because the pay was really good. Because I was with Maker Studios back then, which is owned by Disney.
Okay.
So it was really weird.
I was about to ask you, when you say you were signed by Disney, do you mean like fucking Mickey Mouse and Goofy, like Disney?
Yep.
So, okay.
Maker Studios was owned by Disney.
Okay.
We used to have MCNs back in the day.
So you're, okay.
And,
you can't
Disney gave me a $10,000 check.
Woo!
To start making content.
Okay.
So I did.
So you can't keep saying, okay, when you say Disney, it makes it sound like you went to Disneyland and they're watching, they're letting you make this type of content. It's more like, Disney is the father of a child company that signed you, if I'm getting that correct.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, you were technically under Disney.
Basically the MCN, but it was funny though, because the CEO of Disney called me.
Okay.
Whenever I exposed that one channel, and Keemstar did a review on it, and it got like millions of views.
Okay.
That day, the owner of or the CEO of Disney called me to let me know that they had canceled the contract with that person.
Okay.
And if I could make a video just letting people know. They were getting a lot of hate.
So who is the channel that apparently had Disney signed? Maker Studios. Maker Studios had you signed. You exposed the channel that Maker Studios did have signed. What was that channel, and what was that channel uploading that you exposed?
Let me see real quick. I gotta look back and see
which
one it was. There were so many channels that was coming after me.
Okay, and they were all under the 222 branch, or?
They were all under 222.
Okay, so pretty much it was a member of 222 who happened to be signed by Maker Studios as well that you decided to expose. Yep. Okay, so I guess
it was one of his homies.
Okay.
So let's see.
So now I got a question.
It was that one that basically says another channel is making or is talking about me being mean.
Yeah.
Because they were like, it should be legal and it should be illegal, talking about circumcision.
Yeah. I saw. Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
So
yeah,
now,
that's the one that we did. I went after, and Keemstar ended up picking up the story, and yeah, I got millions of views, and a lot of people were.
So now
I'm mad at Disney.
I got another question. Have you ever heard of the YNC or Ogrish?
Yeah.
Which one did you hear
Yeah,
about?
the YNC, Orgish, Gorgasm. Let's see, what else?
Best Gore?
There's one that's still, Best Gore is still on open. And
it's under a
I
different branch
know
now.
a few people said Vorsk was on there or something. Like some of his videos were on there, or they are on there or something.
Okay.
But I'm not sure.
Yeah, because
I went the other day just to check.
Yeah.
Because I had to use DuckDuckGo because the Google browser will bring it up. But it says like Best Gore Fun or something.
Yeah.
And they said some of his stuff is on there. But like as soon as I looked, it says right at the top, any kind of child or anything like that will be removed. So I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, because Best Gore got shut down, and then somebody took the name Best Gore and put it bestgore.fun and remade that. That happened around 2 to 3 years ago.
Yep.
So now here's my question: when it comes to the deep web, how often did you come across gore on the deep web?
Whenever I go on a mad.fi, like you could just type in gore and it would be probably a good 100 pages of search results. A mad.fi is like Google, but for the deep web.
Okay. Now, here's my thing right here. When it comes to gore on the deep web, how gruesome is the gore on the deep web compared to gore on the surface web? Is it the same thing, or is it more vile? What is it like?
It's pretty much the same. I mean, the only difference is that they don't have an age limit on theirs.
Okay.
On the deep web. As to where on like the surface web, like you got a lot of laws and stuff like that kind of make like a moderator or a website owner have to take stuff down.
Yeah.
Theirs
is more unhinged.
I mean, the only difference is literally the age.
So it's pretty much all of its gore. It just turns out that one, they will upload child gore, and it's more of Land of the Lawless over there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So now I gotta ask you before we continue, and we're gonna change the topic off of Snuff R73. How did you get into the deep web? Like, what was your initial, like, how'd you get into this shit, man?
Like, honestly, I watched something online and was reading articles and stuff. And at the time, I was on 4chan. And with the whole anonymous stuff and all that, they were talking about it. They told everybody how to use it. They told everybody how to download it. They told everybody, like what it did, what it was for. So I was like, why not? I'll try it out. And then, like, I had a buddy who was a lawyer. And I'm like, dude, nobody on YouTube is talking about this. I'm like, nobody's showing what's actually on there.
Yeah.
I'm like, if I made some videos, like, would I go to jail?
Yeah.
Like, that was my first question. And he was like, no. He was like, as long as you're not actually participating in stuff, as long as you're not looking up any kid stuff, as long as you're not, doing anything illegal, you're fine. He's like, it's not illegal to go on tour. It's just illegal to, buy stuff from it, like illegal stuff from it or view illegal images. So I was like, all right, cool. So I, did a couple. And at first it didn't really gain any traction. But then one night, Matthew Santoro, who had like 3 million subscribers at the time, gave me a shout out. I woke up the next morning and my videos were only getting maybe like a few hundred views. I woke up the next day and I had uploaded it maybe like 4 hours before that. And I had, I think, like 25,000 views. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, no, I used to watch Matthew Santoro. Oh, yeah. I used to watch him a lot. So,
yeah. So, I mean, that was cool.
Here's my question. When it comes to the deep web, and let's say the day you got started or the year, could you put a precise year that you started, and how old were you when you did start?
I don't even know how old I was. I think it was 2015 when I started doing the deep web.
Okay, so
I
about
think I think my first deep web video was 2014, but like I said, I only did like 2 or 3 videos on it.
Okay.
And then I was doing like other videos and stuff, but then I got that shout out about the deep web, and I was like, oh man, there might be something here.
Okay.
So
now here's my question. I guess that's just about it. So everybody in chat, that's about it for Snuff R73 and things like that. Essentially what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about a YouTuber known as Surviving Life. Surviving Life. I was made aware of him, I want to say 1 to 2 years ago. I had a couple people bring his name up. I did not ever do any, research or due diligence on Surviving Life. Essentially what I did was I put his name into the back of my head and never really looked into it. His name came up again as of recent, and when I started thinking about him, I decided to look into him, and TakeDownMan had told me about him as of last night. I did some research, and Surviving Life is a YouTuber who I can't make this up because I have seen exposed videos. One of them, TakeDownMan had made an exposed video about him. TakeDownMan alleged that Surviving Life was making accounts on illegal child material sites. Surviving Life then responded by saying no, he does not. And then 20 seconds later, literally logs into an illegal child material site. And he doesn't do it with just one site.
He forgot to edit it.
Yeah.
He forgot to edit it. So I got a screenshot of the username, password,
everything
that he was logging in, and then I had the video, and then I had one to where he's looking it up, and he goes, "Okay, guys, let's look this up. Oh, this is normal. We don't want that." He goes, "Oh, here's the hidden wiki." He's like, "Yeah, that's what we want." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah. So essentially. It's just insane. You're telling me again. I was watching your video on him last night, and he was like, "That never happened," and then he literally starts logging into these websites, and it's like, dude, you're like, what? It actually had my mind blown that it was like he denied your claims and then proves your claims within the same minute, and there's like a 180 contradiction, and it was almost like I thought I was getting pranked. I thought I was getting pranked. So essentially.
Actually, Leland, Surviving Life did not turn off the images because we have proof of that, because he did not blur the images good enough on his editing, and that's what got his channel taken down. You can love that dude all you want, but the truth is the truth on that.
So here's what I'm gonna say.
I'll tell you that now.
So now when it comes to people like Surviving Life, when did he start on YouTube, if you were to give an idea of when you kind of heard about him?
All right, so at first he did leather crafting. That's what he did. Apparently he was a fan of mine. And I guess he started doing deep web videos. And I guess he found that there was a lot of traction in that. So he changed it over from leather crafting to doing deep web. Whenever he started doing deep web, he started going to those websites because, I mean, a lot of people are going to watch you if you're talking about that.
Oh, yeah.
That's just people like the really sick stuff. Like they do. And that's kind of what killed the traction on mine, because I wouldn't go on that stuff. Okay. And this guy literally said that like he was doing good by going on these websites and telling people the websites and where they were, so he could expose the website so the website would get shut down. Really, all you're doing is giving people links
and traction
to legitimate CP sites.
Yeah. Like
legitimate ones. And he's making actual like accounts. And I put it up on Twitter. I tagged his local paper, his TV station, the police, Scotland Yard, like everybody. And next thing I know, like his wife catches him doing something. She gets the kids and is going to leave. He assaults her and the cops come. And he's gone for a year.
Okay.
Then he comes back and his channel was private for a little bit. And then he unprivated everything and started back up again. And there finally we got it to where he was not editing stuff good enough, and it was actually showing stuff to where we were able to be like, hey, YouTube, and I actually went to like Team YouTube and I was showing them, and finally they took the channel down. At that point, he was at almost 100,000 subscribers.
Now I got two questions. When you said that Surviving Life was caught doing something and his wife walked in, do you want to go into detail? Like, what was he caught doing by his wife?
All right, and this is like I wasn't there, so I don't know, but this is from different people that were his moderators that he talks to every day in private.
Okay.
All right, they all said that he was caught watching CP and was playing with himself. Now, whether he turns people in or not it doesn't
Irrelevant.
matter.
It's irrelevant now. Yeah.
The point is, he was watching it. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. His computer was confiscated. And guess what? He never got it back. Do you know what he did? He asked his people to get him another computer. He wasn't online the whole time it was taken until people got him another computer and another setup. He made a video about it. He was to the point where he was asking his viewers to buy his kids shoes. Like, that was all up online. Like, this dude was like crazy. Even more crazy is people were defending him for doing that. Everybody was like coming after me like I was the bad guy for pointing out what he was doing and saying, this is wrong. This is sick. Something's wrong. I'm still on here defending him.
I'm going through a situation just like that where I'm exposing a guy who's doing incredibly bad things and yet he's also e-begging and then he's still getting defense. I'm going through a situation like that actually as of recent. So I can
it's crazy.
It's crazy shit, yeah. So now we went over when did he start, we went over what did he do. Now I gotta understand this. When you said he was showing stuff on the screen because it was poorly blurred, you're saying that he had illegal child material on the screen, but it was just so poorly blurred. Okay.
Videos, pictures, everything. And everybody, their one defense is always, oh, well, he blocked all the pictures. No, he didn't. No, he didn't, because there are plenty of people that have those videos still.
Okay.
They downloaded those videos. I won't do it. I ain't going to jail. But other people downloaded it.
Yeah.
You know? And he's got so many people, dude, that are on Discord against him. Like, this dude also, I mean, these are older people. These people all of age that have talked to me so far. There was one that was underage, and then she got bullied into oblivion. But he was making contracts with people, like BDSM contracts with these, like, women and, like, that one young girl. And he was like making them do like really weird stuff. Like one girl, he had her make like a fake bar video. And then he gave it to another mod as a gift. He had another girl like showing her scars from her cutting herself in the past, talking how sexy she was, like all that. It's weird. He would tell one girl, the llama chick, whatever, he would tell her all the time that like she looked like she was 12 and she was so like it is crazy.
What?
It is crazy. Oh yeah. He would ask her to dress up like a little girl and send him pictures. He was like, it's okay though because you're old enough. No, it's not okay. You want her to dress up like a little kid and send you pictures. That's weird.
Ooh,
And then he had like all these contracts signed with these women. And he had all these contracts signed with all these women. Like, they had to ask permission before they slept with somebody else. They had to ask permission before they ate. They had to, like, write him and ask permission before they went to sleep. Like, all that stuff. His actual real name isn't Ron Slotson. That's a made-up name. His real name is Rocco. I'm not going to say his last name out here, but
yeah,
it's in Twitter.
Okay.
You can see it on my Twitter post because I've doxed all his information for the police and everybody else.
So now I gotta ask you this much.
That's right, Twinkie the Llama. Thank you, Twinkie the Llama. Yes, his mod. She has all this info. She even has his messages to his other mods because everybody turned in everything to her.
Okay.
She has messages to where he's sending his other mods to look up CP. He's telling them, go on, tell them how to use Tor, tell them how to search it and all that. And whenever they found CP links, to send them to him so he can make videos.
So now I got a question. Jesus, all right. Got a question right here. How did you get involved with this guy? When did this start? Who shot the first bullet? And, how did that start?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
You shot the first
bullet. I shot the first bullet because yeah, because he asked to collab with me. And I'm like, who is this guy? So I started looking through his videos and I seen all that weird stuff. And I'm like, dude, I'm not down with that. That's not okay.
Okay.
And I just told him, in private, I'm like, dude, I'm not okay with this. So he started tweeting a bunch of shit. Like, talk about like, I'm jealous of him and his, him starting to get famous. At that time, he only had like 3,000 or 4,000 subscribers. I'm like, what am I jealous of, dude? Then, so I made a video. I'm like, you know what? You want to call me out on Twitter? I'm just going to call you out on YouTube, where you want to be anyways. You want to collab? I'm going to give you your collab. So I gave him his collab. He didn't like it though.
Yeah. You want your shout out? I got a shout out for you. There you go. That's what's up.
Exactly.
That's what's up. Now how long?
So I gave it to him.
How long did y'all go back and forth, man? How long did you two go back and forth?
Shit, for like a year and a half.
Okay.
For like a year and a half, because like he would constantly come out with different things, and his fans were just like, they were relentless. Like they were just they would not stop. They would constantly come at me, to the point to where it was going like real life coming at me. And I'm like, all right, you know what? Enough's enough. So I put him on blast on Twitter with the cops, police, like TV. Like I was like, you know what? Everybody's gonna see it now. Ain't nobody gonna ignore this, because it was weird just how much he was getting away with it, and he starts saying things like, oh well, I let the police know every time I find one. I'm like, yeah, well, by that point you literally recorded everything that's on the website.
Yeah, so now that's possession at that point.
Exactly.
So now I got a question. When did you guys start getting at each other? When did you guys start getting at each other? Like what year?
2017, 2018.
Okay. So
went all the way till 2019, and then like 2020, 2021, they had a group called Survivors on Discord that went after him.
I did see that.
Because they were all his old mods, and they all were showing me stuff that was crazy, like different emails from him. Like he had like an actual, like somebody recorded one of the mod calls to where he was just like going off on all of them because they weren't finding enough CP. They weren't finding enough of the sites and videos for him, that they were all lacking. And one girl was like crying, and she's like, I can't do this anymore. This is really getting to me. And he's like, you need to suck it up, and you need to stop. You need to quit being, a little baby, and blah, 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 like just degrading the shit out of her.
Yeah. So again,
and I mean, I have a couple videos on my channel, but they're all like, he was going in on different ones, different mods so hard, and like finding like ex-friends of theirs that would talk shit on them. And one girl was a teacher, and she was worried about losing her job. So like a lot of them were just like, hey, can you unlist that video, please? I mean, I may want it back up one day, but not right now, because my livelihood's at stake, my freedom's at stake. So I mean, there was just a lot of people, but I still have them.
So essentially, how many exposed videos would you say you made about him, and how many did he make about you?
He made, what, 2, 3.
Okay. And how many?
Like, honestly, and I made like probably a good 10 or 15 because like, it was pissing me off because like this dude just keeps showing CP.
Yeah.
He's showing CP and he's getting more popular, and more people are going to these sites. Like literally, like I'm like, dude, what is going on? I'm like, this guy's getting like 40, 50,000 people going on these sites. He's getting only about 1,000 comments that are like, this is sick.
Yeah.
I mean, and then like, so after I was saying he was giving away the sites, he thought he was going to be slick. He's like, okay, well, I'm going to start, like blurring out the website at the top of the screen.
Yeah.
You still got the name on it, dude. You still got the name. It's still the name of the website. So, and he's already told people how to use the Tor search engines. So all they have to do is type in the name. and the site will pop right up. But then he was like, for a minute, he goes, well, I don't actually go on the sites. I don't look at the sites. So I'm literally like watching his video, and you can see where you hear the mouse click. You see on the video the mouse click. It changes, and then his face lights up. Like literally like the light from the website lit up his face. I'm like, so you're telling me you weren't on that site, huh?
Yeah.
Like there were so many things that gave away what he was doing.
Okay. So it was a small
like,
detail.
It was crazy.
Now here's the thing.
And I mean honestly, he sat right there in that one video, the one that I tagged the police in and stuff.
Yeah.
Like one of them, yeah, it showed that he had a username and password for that account, and he logged into it.
That is true. I did see him record himself doing exactly that. That is true.
Exactly. And then the next one that I showed, he was looking up legitimate CP and even said, "Oh no, that's adult. We want the CP one." And then it came on, and he was like, "Oh yeah, the child wiki. Yeah, that's what we want." I'm like, it was so creepy the way he said it. It really was. I mean, it was. I mean, that one's actually in your Discord messages.
Jesus, yeah. Because I remember you sent me links to some of the fucking. I think one of them was the exposed video, and oh yeah, you sent me a Discord screenshot of him talking his shit and like being braggadocious about it. That is true, people. He actually sent me Discord screenshots of this guy bragging about what he is telling you guys, and he actually, I did look up and I found an exposed video about him where he is, in fact, talking about these things and admitting to it. So one more thing I will say. How did things...
There was other things too.
Go ahead.
But that is in Discord that people have sent, but I don't want to show it because that's like borderline, like being able to actually see it. Okay. Like you could tell it's blurred a little bit, but you could tell exactly what they were.
Okay, so he's essentially
like
pretty.
It wasn't really blurred. It was just kind of blurred.
So he's
I'm like, no.
He's putting like a really shitty blur on it, and he's walking a very tight rope between prison and legal. So essentially,
exactly.
I gotta ask you this.
Ron. Surviving Life had a sex cult. Yes, he did. He had a sex cult, and he said he was a magical wizard or some shit, and like he would put curses on people. If not, he would have them draw like the Norse god signals on like their cutting scars. Like right after like they would cut, he would have them use like a magic marker and draw like certain like protection things on it and shit. And he would say that they had his blessing and all that. It was weird.
Now I gotta ask you, how did things...
Like honestly, Twinkie the llama is the one that could give you like everything because she has like terabytes of shit on it.
How did things end between you and Surviving Life? How did things come to a close?
The closure was once I got his channel taken down. Okay. Once I got his channel taken down, I was done. I mean, he come back as Darkbot.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, he's got like 8,000 people, maybe 9,000 now. But I mean, yeah, he went after one girl on there. He went after me on there. He does some really weird shit on there. He uses an AI voice that's supposed to be his deceased daughter. And it's weird because whenever you watch it, it's like, you have all done my daddy wrong. You will see what me and my daddy Darkbot will do to you now. I'm like, what the hell?
Quick thing I wanna talk about. Right there, Melvolin.
The owner's like, dude, this is so fake.
Yeah.
You tell the truth.
Yeah,
dude, it's right there online. Go look it up.
I was about to say, I'm about to answer that right now. Beholder, you're saying that this is fake. It's not fake because what he is saying is shit that Surviving Life had. We're just discussing things that we saw on his YouTube channel, and by we saw, I'm talking about him admitting to signing in to illegal websites. He uploaded a video that is live on his YouTube channel of himself admitting to literally signing into child material sites on the deep web. This TakeDownMan is not lying. This video is literally live. As a matter of fact, I might just play the video, and again, it's just him admitting to it. This is no fucking lie. It's like, again, how can a lie be a recording of the man admitting to it? What are you talking about? Like, again, this is not lying. He's admitting it. He admitted it.
I love, I love how people always say that. A lot of people say I lie about stuff, and it's like, dude, I actually have proof. I have proof of a lot of the shit I say. Like,
Um,
and then if I am wrong about something, I will actually put something in the comments. Like on a couple of the videos, people said it's, that guinea pig movie or whatever. I didn't know that. I don't watch Cold.
okay.
You know what I mean? I took somebody's word for it and I put it in the comments. Hey, I found out that, this is the guinea pig movie and I pinned it just because, I mean, it's already up. But also in my disclaimers, I always tell everybody believe, half of what you see and none of what you hear, do your own research. So if you don't believe something, go look it up. Do the research. Don't be lazy. Don't just say, oh, you're a fucking liar.
Yeah.
And that's actually what I like about you, because you actually do your research. And I noticed that. So it didn't really matter what you said about me prior, because I was like, well, the dude does his research.
I appreciate that. Okay,
So,
I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, because I don't just like want to throw shit in the wind. I want to make sure what I'm saying is true. And I appreciate the fact that you didn't take it personal. Again, you know how I am. I'm an animated guy. I did say some shit and I did talk some shit with it because that's just who I am. I'm glad you didn't take it personal. It was some jabs in there.
Dude, I did the same thing whenever I watched that 60 Minutes interview.
Okay.
I jumped on about Peter Scully after watching the 60 Minutes interview and made the dumbest video ever. It was one of my most popular videos. But I was very emotional at that time that I forgot the dude's name. I was calling Ross Kelly for.
So one thing I was gonna say, before I review,
so when I was talking about Peter Scully,
if I ever review Rocco, I would have to get a lot of research. And again, I would not be comfortable reviewing a guy who is literally admitted to signing in to child material sites and then stated, "Yeah, I do it all the time." Why would I? Again, it's like, what am I going to get?
Just as a child, as a decoy, not to send private messages. Actually, that's not true, because Twinkie has actually posted the messages from Rocco to her that says what he likes. So once again, you don't know what you're talking about, because there's actual proof out there. There was a whole group. There was like, there was almost like 500 people on there that were going against him, and they were posting everything they had on there. So to say it's not true is really to like belittle the people that actually posted all this stuff.
So again, hold on. I want to go over this one comment. Nigel McGivers says he's manipulating you, Poppy. Let me make this very clear. We're only going over things right now that we've already went over in private, and that he has DM'd me proof of.
And I've actually showed him.
Yes, we're only going over things that he has sent me and DM'd me proof of. That's all we're going over. Anything that he has not sent me proof of, we're not going over. So anything that is being talked about right now is what we already talked about in private. He has sent me screenshots and or video recordings, and I'm just letting this information be public. This is all we're doing here. This is not me, you know.
I mean, you oughta play the 2 videos that I sent you. Just those 2.
Yeah, I want to. Yeah, I'm gonna probably go over the videos. Yeah, and I'm probably gonna go over the videos a little bit later in the stream. But now we're gonna ask again. Now we're gonna go on to personal questions, because again, it's between personal questions and things we already went over. When it comes to illegal material, so guys, we're already finished with the surviving life. That was pretty much chapter 2 here. When it comes to illegal material on the deep web and things like that, when was the first time you ever heard about daisies? Because essentially it was thought to be an urban legend for a very, very long time, and nobody actually believed it. When was the first time you've actually caught wind of daisies? Like, if you were to give a year or a time.
Vinny G was the first time I ever heard about it, because Vinny G was actually a friend of his. That dude has a YouTube channel. He's from Australia. He was actually good friends. Like, this dude's like rich. So like, I guess he was one of the investors that lost their money. So before Scully moved and ran, but he had like hard drives and he wanted to send it to me. And I was like, no, I'm good. I don't want that. I don't want nothing that's illegal, because what's legal in one place isn't legal in another country. But secondly, I don't want to see it. So it was what I did. I looked up the name, and there was a 60-minute interview. And that was my first time really understanding who this guy was. And so I researched a little more, and then my wife had family in the Philippines, so I talked to them, they knew some of the people that I guess were related to the girls and stuff that he did stuff with. And there's a lot more than people talked about. There really was.
Yeah, because I remember watching the 60 Minutes thing, and they were talking about how Peter Scully did in fact one of the girls and buried her.
Yep.
Yeah, there was more than essentially there's
And
more after the
supposedly there's a video of it, but nobody has it.
Yeah, that's another thing. So again, now here's one thing: if there is a video of him killing this girl, this would actually be the world's first snuff film. And if people don't know what a snuff film is, a snuff film is thought to not exist because it means that you are someone on camera, recording it, and you're specifically using that to sell the death of somebody, and that has never been done before. Now, Peter Scully, according to the 60-minute interview that you can watch yourself, has a child, one that was inside the Daisy video, and that he had buried her under the floorboards, and it was thought that he had recorded it. And if he did record it and sell it, that would then constitute that as the world's first snuff film. Now, nobody has evidence of this footage existing, so it's all up to speculation, and that remains to be an urban legend. But again, Daisy's itself was an urban legend for many years until people started uncovering it, and then it had a boom on 4chan where people were downloading it on 4chan. Crazy enough. Now, question, when you hear about things like Daisy's, because when it comes to illegal child material, 99% of the time people talk about it's illicit pictures or illicit videos that are a minute long, 30 seconds long, and that Daisy's was I hate to put it in these terms, but essentially a high production film. Something that was casted, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, somewhere around that. It's a long film, I guess. And how many times have you heard about some kind of child material?
But it wasn't the first high production video.
Okay.
Because I had an interview with Masha Bobko at one point, and it got taken down. Like, I actually interviewed her as an adult, and they had a whole production team. She used to get paid and pay her friends and stuff like that to do stuff, and they would make high quality videos from what she said.
Who's Masha Bobko? Say that again. Masha Bobko? Who is that?
Yeah, Masha Babko. She was called the Serbian Mouse. She was like the most popular one in CP.
Okay, she was so she's like the queen of illegal material?
Yeah, she was like the most famous one.
What was she doing? Like, she was
somebody actually sent me her info, and I just wrote her, and she did the interview, and we had somebody translate it from Russian.
Okay, so
we had somebody translating back and forth while I was interviewing her.
So essentially,
but she was actually like the number one, like known one.
Okay.
Like, you could Google her name, and there's lots of interviews with her now.
How would you spell her name?
But she was called the Serbian Mouse. Mashababko.
Masha? Masah?
Masha.
Oh, Masha. Masha.
Yeah.
Bako. How do you spell Bako?
Yeah.
How do you spell
Babko.
Okay, Masha Bobko. Okay. And she's known as the Serbian Mouse. She was apparently into high production and took part of very high production illegal material inside of Russia.
She was like 11 or 12.
When she started?
She was like 11 or 12 whenever it started. Yeah.
And she was not only taking part in these films, but she was actually recording it? Like, what was she doing? If you want to just read it.
No. No, it was like a friend of her family and like an adopted dad or something was doing that. And they would have, like, she said, for some reason, that like there was times whenever she would have like 15, 20 guys at the same time in a video. Like, there was, like, she said a lot of really illicit stuff to happen. And it was for her and all of her friends. And the thing people need to remember is she was a child whenever it happened, okay? But whenever this guy finally got caught, she took a lot of the blame from a lot of the parents, the police, and everybody, because it was her friends that she was like initiating, but they were telling her to do that. And a lot of like her and a lot of her friends were very poor. So these guys would give them money, like a lot of money. so they could buy things that they couldn't normally buy. They could bring food into the house. Like, they were being manipulated. They were the victims. They weren't the actual, this child wasn't a perpetrator. This child was the victim.
Okay.
And to this day, like, she still gets ridiculed where she lives. She's moved like 3 times. And everywhere she goes, they still ridicule her like she was at fault. And I think she was like 14 or 15 whenever the guy got busted. So she still wasn't an adult. So no, she wasn't culpable.
Now I got another question right here. We're going to get off this topic. We're going to move on. Let's talk about Master Chan. What the fuck is Master Chan?
Yeah.
What is that? Go ahead, explain it to everybody. What is Master Chan?
All right, so Master Chan had 2 different Master Chans. All right, there was one on the surface web and there's one on the deep web. The surface web, everybody says it's the same. It wasn't the same because they allowed a lot more on the deep web one than they did on the surface web. But Master Chan was a Chan, like 8chan. Like, if you ever looked at 8chan, like 4chan stuff would 404 after a certain amount of time. Master Chan wouldn't.
Okay.
So it would actually stay up like 8chan did, to where you could actually look stuff up. But Master Chan was kind of like, it was a free speech zone at first, to where like you could just talk about anything and nobody would be able to take it down and report you and stuff like that. But before you know it, anything that claims to be, 100% do what you want, unfortunately comes with very bad stuff too.
Yeah, it comes with the price.
So next thing you know, there was a section like young and stuff like that. And then that's where the 222 ended up coming from.
Okay. So
now I know some of them say it started on Screen Bitch, but I don't think it did.
Okay.
I think it started on Master Chan.
So now that we're done kind of giving an idea of what Master Chan is, you brought up Scream Bitch. Now, what the fuck is Scream Bitch? What is that?
That was a site to where you could post like everything. Like anything that was very degenerative, anything that was evil, you could post there. And the worse it was, the more people wanted it.
What I do remember, I believe I saw a video of yours some time ago, and everybody in chat, he is telling the truth on this because he was scrolling through, and there was like people on Screen Bitch talking about uploading animal hurt videos of people crushing animals.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
the crush videos and all that.
Again, when it comes down to it, how many other forums were like, okay, so say Master Chan is a land of the lawless. It does have horrible shit there, but then there's also decent discussions to be had there. Let's say Scream Bitch is just pure, utter evil, degeneracy, and
just
nothing
pure
else.
Evil.
Okay. Now,
that's what it was for. That's literally what it was for.
Now, I gotta ask you, how many other websites were like Scream Bitch?
There was quite a few. There was quite a few.
Any coming to name? Any names that come to your mind, or just due to time? Because again, you did admit that you weren't, you're not on top of things you used to.
Well, I mean, people would send me like the screenshots. They would send me like certain links, and I would look it up on the amea.fi just to see, because it gives a description of what's on the websites.
Yes.
And if there was any CP, amea won't advertise it. It'll literally say there's such and such on this site. We do not promote this, and blah, blah, blah. Okay. So, but that's the only thing that they don't show. They'll show everything else. Okay. And I mean, of course, like people posted, what was it? Before it got put on the gore site or whatever, that girl where they took the screwdriver to the eyeball and stuff, and the guy with the hammers and all that. That was where it first came from, and then they would post it on the gore sites.
Okay, 2 questions now. Okay, so Scream Bitch did not have illegal child material. No illegal child material there.
I don't know, because I never went into it that much.
Okay.
I know it was allowed because it said it right at the top, which is why I wouldn't click and stuff.
Okay.
So now, I was like, I don't want to click. I don't want to actually go into the post themselves and see anything.
Here's my question. You just said something about
you have to walk a fine line with stuff like that.
Yeah. You just said a woman with a screwdriver in her eyeball and all that. What do you mean by that?
Yeah.
What is that?
Well, the video started out to where there's like some guys talking, and then they walk around. It looked like like an old like decrepit playground. I can't remember where it was. But either way, there was a body laying there, and there's a girl. She was dead, and they started like stabbing her with a screwdriver and putting it through her eyeballs and pulling them out and stuff like that. It was like real nasty stuff.
Was it in the back of a dumpster?
Yeah.
Okay, I think I know what video you're talking about. Yes, I believe. Okay, I know what you're talking about. So what he's talking about is a video. I can't believe. Wow, dude, you just fucking dug deep in my brain. This was. I can't remember what mixtape it was, but it was about 2 to 3 guys. Yeah, they were. It was around a playground. It was on the concrete, I want to believe. So it was behind a dumpster. They found her corpse. I want to say it was wrapped in plastic, and they were poking her in the face with a screwdriver, and she was in fact already dead. Yes, I do remember that. That was in a mixtape I had witnessed some time ago. Yeah. So again, I was like, at first I was like, "What are you talking about?" Now I remember exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, and then it was what, 2 guys and 1 hammer or something, where they beat that homeless man to death and stuff. And
yeah, 3 guys, 1 hammer. Yeah. So essentially, you're saying it pretty much had its own gore section, pretty much like the YNC and everything else.
Yeah. And Scream Bitch, yes, it was a hardcore site as well, but it had a lot of other stuff on there. It was anything degenerate really that was like messed up, anything you wouldn't normally want to see.
Okay, so someone's saying that it was actually
an elderly woman.
Yeah, it was.
She looked young.
I can't remember.
The one that was behind the dumpster.
All I can remember, I can remember it was behind it. I don't remember if she was elderly or young. It was just so many years ago. But if this person is like, telling us the intricate details that I can kind of remember, then I guess it was elderly. Now that was MD Pope 1. Okay, so now I gotta ask you. When you were doing the deep web shit, was that what you were doing for a living at the time? Was that like, what made you stable?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I did that, and then I worked at the psychic place, like selling like candles and crystals and shit like that for this lady.
Okay.
So
I gotta ask you, how much were you getting paid on YouTube during that time?
At that time in 2015, I was getting roughly like 15,000 a month.
Was that like based off of views, or was that views and a contract?
That was just the ad rev. Okay. It was before the whole apocalypse shit kicked in.
People make a quarter.
Like, we used to get paid really well.
Yeah.
I was getting like $20 TPM. So it was, yeah, because I got that shout out. Yeah, I got that shout out. So I was getting $20 CPM. Yeah. It was crazy. Like, that apocalypse killed YouTube.
Yeah, because right now,
as far as the money,
I'm making like, I've got to be honest, I just started monetizing my videos because I was I'd never monetized my videos, and right now I'm at like $6 CPM. $6 CPM. You're making triple to what the fuck I was making. And if people don't know what CPM is, CPM is how much money you're making per 1,000 views. So essentially, TakeDownMan said that he's making $20 per 1,000 views. Now, remind you, YouTube was a very different place back in the day, where they were running 20 times the
ads. And
at
that time, I had over 200 million views at that point, and by the end of that year, I had 500 million. Yeah. So I mean, I was making really good.
Son of a bitch. Yeah, fuck, dude. Being a YouTuber around 2015, 2016 was definitely a time to be pocketing money, man.
Oh yeah.
Now.
I used that to buy a house. I used that to open a business. Like, that's why I'm not on YouTube anymore, because I'm busy with life. Yeah. And it takes a lot of time to do YouTube. People don't understand that. They think you can just make a video, edit it, and throw it up. Even the shit editing that I did at that time was taking me like 70 hours a week.
Yeah.
I was uploading twice a day.
But then even at that, it's like nowadays, again, the how strong computers were, they were nowhere near as strong. They didn't run as fast, and you guys didn't have the same editing software. Nowadays, I can make a video, 50 times better edited than a video that was made 10 years ago, and I can do it in a quarter of the time because of my editing software and shit like that.
I mean, the quality of a live stream is better than the best editing software back in 2015. So, I mean,
I gotta ask you this question. We're gonna move on to a different topic. You remember Mudahar, right?
Yeah.
When was the last time you talked? Actually, matter of fact, let me ask you this: how did you get into contact with Mudahar / Some Ordinary Gamers? How'd you get into contact with him?
He wrote me.
Okay.
He wrote me.
So
He just wanted to know about the deep web and stuff, and we did a collab, and 8chan trolled him to take the video down, so I did.
okay. So when you made that video with Mudahar, did he ever talk to you again after that, or he actually never talked to you? You know.
He wrote me one other time just to say that which one? It was the little short film that we made, Confessions of a Serial Killer, Jacob. Where I actually had like actors in it and stuff. Like nobody could remember lines, so I had to do a voiceover. But we had actual actors to do the video, and he was like, "Oh, dude, that's really cool." And then whenever I did the expose on the YouTube Kids, that one's on my deal. Talking about how like they were showing crush fetishes and scat fetishes in kids' videos, and it was on YouTube Kids. He actually he commented on that. He goes, "Dude, what the fuck?" I was like, "Yeah, I know." He goes, "That's messed up." Beyond that, I never really talked to him.
So did he ever keep any updates on him or anything like that? Because as of right now, he's actually blown up and he's became a moral compass of YouTube. He's actually like one of the head honchos. He's kind of like the guy who keeps everybody in check. He makes sure that the YouTube community stays clean. He's actually taken a very high position inside the YouTube community, the YouTube sphere.
Well, I don't know. At that time, he was like at 500,000 subscribers. So.
Yeah, now
I just thought it was pretty cool. He wanted to work with me. So.
Now.
I mean, he was a cool guy. I mean, and he was very understanding. Because for some reason, I was trying to record the thing he did. We did like a whole hour thing, and I tried to send him the file, and it was corrupted. So we had to redo the whole thing again. So.
Now I gotta ask you this. When was your last time on tour, the Onion Router? When was the last time you're on there?
What, about 2 years ago?
Okay, so...
After the FBI took it over?
Okay. So the FBI took over tour?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that was big news a couple of years back. Like, literally, they did something to where now they have, like, something on like every exit note. So no matter what you do, they know exactly where you are.
Okay.
So a lot of people that are on it, they're being watched. I mean, I was never worried about it because I never went on nothing that was going to put me in jail. So, I mean, there's a lot of people who said I was, but I was like, dude, if I was really that worried about it, I wouldn't be like out doing my shit, you know?
So now I got a question right here. When you go on tour, let's just say someone's on tour. This is for all the people who want to get into this type of stuff. And someone's on tour, they're browsing, they click on a link, and they end up getting exposed to illegal child material. What would you say would be the correct way to go about this? What would be the next steps? What would you say?
Well, first off, don't send it to a YouTuber because they may click it by accident. That's why I never click nothing.
Don't send it to fucking YouTube, man. That's
yeah. Yeah, but also there's the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. I mean, I understand that a lot of times they're so backlogged with stuff. I mean, you don't understand. There is like thousands of videos uploaded per minute. There are thousands of websites being made per minute, all over the world. So there's only so much they could do. But I mean, unfortunately, that is where you send it. If it's child stuff. I wouldn't say to call the cops on yourself because, unfortunately, a lot of people are like, oh, if you just click and you click out, you know, just let them know. No, because you could be prosecuted for that. But also, unless if you really know what you're doing, you shouldn't be on there anyways.
Okay.
Like I said, I did a lot of studying before I went on there. And a lot of people are like, oh, you're just trying to scare people. No, I'm not. Because, like, let's say, like, you don't go to, like, Amanda.fi. All right, or you look up like the Hidden Wiki. The Hidden Wiki is run by people much like WikiLeaks is. So these people could put like, this is a forum for whatever, put the Tor link on it, you click it, and guess what? Guess where you just went? And it could be somebody with nefarious purposes. They just think it's funny to troll people with that shit. And it's not, but they do.
So now here's my question.
Yeah, a lot of it is a honeypot. A lot of it's a honeypot.
Yeah.
really is.
And if people don't know what honeypots are, it's pretty much a setup by the FBI or any government agency specifically for you to click on it, and then when you start performing nefarious things or you start going into the content, essentially you're being tracked and you will in fact be arrested and prosecuted. It's more like a makeshift trap. It's like, again, kind of like a little bit of nuggets under a box, and then the FBI pulls the string because they're the ones who put the nuggets there for you to eat it. Now, I gotta say, when it comes to that type of content, moving on, since we're going to stay on the topic of illegal content, what have you heard about Kik? K-I-K, Kik. What have you heard about that?
All right, so the Kik thing, the WhatsApp thing, like there's a lot of that stuff. And a lot of them are in regular groups, like on Facebook. Like they have people on there and they share their, like, you know, a Kik number. I've seen it on YouTube videos with kids. Like literally, whenever we used to like expose people, like literally, like people in my fans things would just, you know, they would type in like teen or whatever, and it would come up with like all these videos of people, and they were just talking, you know, but like there'd be grown ass men under it and women and stuff like that saying, hey, my WhatsApp number is this, and we used to have something else back in the day too. And they would do it that way. They'd have Yahoo groups that did it. They had AOL groups that did it. It's so much out there. Yeah, Telegram too.
I was about to bring that up.
And yeah, that too. But I mean, see, a lot of people don't realize that with these honeypot things, a lot of places will offer a free download. And a lot of people were like, well, how was Ron getting away with it? He was getting away with it because he was using Bandicam to record. So he wasn't actually downloading it onto his computer at the time. He was recording it with a screen recorder.
Who was doing that?
So that's how he was doing it. Surviving Life.
Okay, Surviving Life. Okay.
Because he would literally go into like these Telegram groups and stuff like that. That's how he was finding like stuff too, because he was talking to legitimate people who were like child traffickers. Like getting like the info, and they would send pictures and videos and stuff like that. So, I mean, I've heard of all this stuff. I don't use any of it, but I mean, even Snapchat, like Snapchat had that leak years ago, and they had a whole ass thing on the deep web to where if you were on Snapchat in those years, every picture that you ever took and sent was saved. So every time you sent a message, anytime you sent it, and there was a lot of underage people on that. And the feds actually got a lot of people because of that. Because it was all up there, and these dudes, like, I guess they were going and, I guess getting pictures of kids, Omegle, Chat Roulette, they do that. I mean, there's a lot of sites that people use. There's not just like one site. There was even that one deal on Twitter that Surviving Life was telling everybody the keywords to put in to find CP on Twitter. And he was like, well, if you find them, send them to me so I know where they are so I can let people know. And I'm like, dude, why? Why would you tell people that publicly? How many people do you really think is going to tell you? Like that they literally just watched that?
Yeah.
Because what you're doing, you're promoting it. That would be like me saying, yeah, this Kik phone number profile, or however they use it, is such and such, you know? Go over there and, you know, see what you can get on this guy. No, you don't do that.
So I gotta ask you this question. Why did you stop when it comes to Tor and all that shit and, YouTube? What made you stop?
Started dating somebody that was really jealous, first off. That kind of killed the momentum. So that was one thing. The other thing was the whole 222 and 8chan just bothered me. Then Surviving Life. It was like once you get into that drama, it just keeps going. And it got to the point to where it was no fun. YouTube just wasn't fun anymore. No. And I'd already made my money. Because at that point when Iran left, it was going way down. Like the money was like gone. And then my channel got terminated. I got it back. I tried to do a live stream and I'm like, dude, I'm just not feeling this anymore. And then I tried to make a couple videos, and I was like, I'm not feeling this. I'm like, fuck it, I'm done.
So I gotta ask you here. I was looking through your channel, and you had a backup channel. It no longer exists. What happened with that second backup channel, man?
I actually have a few.
Oh shit.
There is one, but I bought somebody's. I wanted to troll her. She's called MFW. That's fucking wonderful. Okay. So I bought her trademark because she was just a real just low piece of shit. But I bought her trademark so I could actually own her name, and I put it on one of the channels just to do it. And now literally I took her link for her name on YouTube. So yeah. But then also I was looking at the money that was on YouTube whenever I got my channel back, and I'm like, dude, this is nowhere near what I was making.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like I do odd shots, and in a day I can make $4,000. Like in a day, just delivering something. Now, why would I do YouTube videos that are I'm going to pay a couple grand a month whenever I can make $4,000 in a day, just hooking something up to my truck and taking it down the road?
It makes fair point. Yeah, fair point.
Yes, Leo, that was very petty, but it was funny too because that bitch was Madison. That took her damn username.
Okay, so now I got a question right here.
Now, literally, there's a channel called Miss Wonderful on there that's got all my videos on it too. I did it literally just to troll her.
So here's the question: would you ever get back into deep web content?
No, not anymore. I mean, that era is over. I mean, you would have to do so much, and even then, now it's to the point where like the feds really are watching people that's on. Like, if you say the wrong thing, and a lot of people could say I'm paranoid about this, but like, I mean, honestly, like, just look at the thing. If you're a Democrat or Republican, that starts fights.
Yeah, that's stuff.
Imagine if I went on the deep web. I used to go on the deep web literally just to speak my mind. Like, I used to like the fact that I could. I used to like the fact that I had a platform that, people would listen. It was cool to have friends that you didn't know who the hell they were, but you guys had the same interest, especially with like all like the suppressed science. Like, there was a dude that built a force field, and it was funny as shit because he built one out of magnets, and it was so strong he went in there and he fell down and shit his pants. I mean, it was shit like that was like funny to watch, but it was cool too because he actually built something. So, I mean, there was another guy that built a whole house in a cave, like a whole underground system. It was things like that was really cool, but that stuff's not around anymore. So, I mean, to me, what's really the point? I mean, what, drug sites, CP sites? Like, I don't really care about that stuff. Gore, I don't care about that. I was more like all the actual suppressed science. Like, that stuff was really cool.
Now I gotta ask you, after all the shit you've been exposed to, how you doing up here in the noggin? You doing good? How's the psyche?
Oh, I'm good now. I'm good. Okay. I'm real good. The dude said the feds have so many more things to do. Okay, that's why people go to jail all the time. Okay. I don't know about, outside of the U.S. Like, I wouldn't look it up where I'm at right now because they're very strict on things. Like, where I'm at, like, free speech isn't a thing. So, like, you got to watch what you say. But at the same time, like, you never know tomorrow, man. The government could turn on you just that quick. And imagine that you do go on something bad. I mean, you can take that chance. I'm not taking that chance. I like my freedom for what little freedom I got in the world. I like it.
I got a question now. Follow-up question. Well, not follow-up question. I guess we're changing off topic. Now that enough of time has passed, because here's something that I do want to give a little bit of backstory, I guess to cushion the blow. Back in the day, this was about 10 years ago, the amount of evidence and the amount of information that was available to people 10 years ago is not the same as it is today. Completely different. Now, As of today
Yeah.
of 2024, do you still believe in the existence of red rooms? And if people don't know what a red room is, it's pretty much you go on the deep web, you pay an admission, you watch a live stream of watching someone be and or and you pay to have certain things done to them. Do you still believe in the existence of red rooms as of 2024?
Is it a possibility? It could be a possibility. Have I ever seen one? No.
Okay.
So, I mean, I couldn't say there is. I'm not going to say there's not 100% because people are weird. People are sick. I mean, you got people like Vorsk.
Yeah.
You got people like him. Who knows what people do? But things like that, even, I mean, let's say it was a real thing. First off, it probably wouldn't be on the deep web. I mean, it is possible to have webcams on the deep web because literally there was different sites to where people could have web chats with each other on camera on the deep web, but it was very spotty and it wasn't very fast. It's kind of like a 90s website kind of deal. That would probably be more on the surface web. It would be something like on, Kick, WhatsApp, whatever. If people were really doing that. However, though, why would people pay that much whenever literally they can watch it for free on Facebook or something? Because people do that stuff. You got doing it live.
That is
true.
true.
You got people live on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever.
That is true.
Like they have whole groups of people watching them. So why would somebody pay for that whenever they can literally watch it for free? I mean,
so now
I mean, as far as an actual red room, I don't know because I've never seen it. But I doubt people would pay that much, but you never know.
Now I got another question. I did watch your video on Green Ball, and you did say inside your video that it's 100% bullshit. You said no fucking way Green Ball exists.
Yeah.
What were your initial thoughts
when you... really because of the chemicals that they say was used. I looked up those chemicals, and there's no way it would do that to a body, but it's just kind of...
Can you tell me, when did you first hear about Green Ball? If people don't know about Green Ball, it's one of these, these secret Uber, dark web, child tapes in which children are being hurt. It's...
Well, on, all right, so there was a site called Confessions. Not the Confessions of a Serial Killer, just Confessions. And it would be like, tell me your secrets or something, and people were like, yeah, I'll watch the Green Ball video, and blah, blah, blah. And they had this, and they put a full description in. So... I would just look it up, and of course, most of this stuff was on Spanish and Portuguese,
websites,
little wiki site things.
Yeah,
to where I would have to use Google Translate, and if you understand, Google Translate sucks now. It was even worse in 2015.
Yeah.
So you'd have to ad lib a little bit to make it sound somewhat together. So.
Anything else like around Green Ball or Baby Burger and Daffy Love? You ever heard of anything else along those lines, like these weird ass creepypasta child hurt tapes? You ever heard anything else like that, or no? That's pretty much where the list ends.
I mean, that's pretty much where the list ended for me.
Okay.
I mean, there may be stuff out there. I mean, there's stuff out there. I mean, you got a lot of hurtcore and stuff like that people are into that I'm sure shows some pretty messed up stuff. So, I mean, you got people watching kids channels with 25 million views just to watch them step on cake.
Yeah.
So I mean, you got weird people out there. So I'm sure there's lots of weird stuff out there.
Now, this may be a person. I'm gonna ask you two different questions. It'll be very personal questions. My first question is when it comes to footage of gore, like the dying of a human or the disembowelment of the human. What is the most graphic thing you have seen when it comes to human gore?
Probably an African one. It was one out of Africa. They took a video from this tribe, and they had the guy tied down. They cut him open, and they started eating him while he was alive.
How long would you say this video was?
The weirdest one. That was maybe 2015, because there was a lot of weird stuff on there at that time.
How long was the video?
Oh God, I skipped through it because it was 2 hours long.
Well, you said 2 hours long?
Yeah.
Wait, how were they eating him? They were eating his entrails? Were they eating his muscle, filleting him, or?
they weren't cooking them. They were just cutting them open and eating different things. And they ate his heart, like they bit in, like it was raw, like they were eating him. Somebody was eating on his leg, like yeah.
Okay. Now, I'm not going to lie, I am subject to kind of lean towards more that I do believe that you did see something like that, because as of recent, we have seen Mexican cartels fillet people, and if people don't know what filleting is, filleting somebody is cutting open your chest.
I've seen him cut his hands and feet off, and peeled his skull, or peeled the thing off.
And I saw one when the guy
like I said, though, I always have to fast forward through it, though. I can't just watch it from start to finish. I can't hear the screams, and like I've got it muted, and I'm literally just like clicking through trying to see what the hell it is.
Yeah, there was one where a guy pulled out a piece of his lung and ate it.
Cartel.
Yeah, yeah, that's essentially it. Don't fuck with the cartel, because I saw one where a guy pulled out a piece of his lung and ate it. He fucking ate his lung, and it was insane shit.
Yeah.
So that's essentially the worst human gore video, is pretty much, I guess, an African tribal cannibalism. Now, when it comes to animal videos, what was the worst you've ever exposed to when it comes to an animal video? If you do want to go ahead and go into detail about that.
The one on YouTube that I called the cops on live stream.
Okay.
Because somebody was like, hey, dude, check this YouTube video out. And I'm on a live stream.
Okay.
So I've got this live stream going, and I have to shut the live stream. Because literally, like, I'm watching this video, and there's a dog hanging on a rope. And this guy walks up while it's dying, while it's hanging from a rope, from a tree. And I had to call the cops. Because it literally, like, it showed him going through, like, some park in Washington. And we found out where the park was, and we called the local police, and the police actually went after him. But yeah.
Jesus Lord.
That was the worst one that I've seen. Because I can't watch an animal, Garrett, and that's like, I'd rather watch a grown person get messed up than an animal. I'm sorry. Animals are innocent. They're pure. You know their intentions. You know a lion's gonna fucking kill you. So don't touch it. Don't touch a bear. It's gonna kill you. You understand that. With people, they can be just as nice as can be, and then they kill you after they give you a hug. So
yeah. So now after that, what was, let's just say, the worst thing that you've ever been exposed to in your whole life when it comes to the surface web, the deep web? What was the one worst thing you've ever been exposed to, and whether or not you got the police involved, obviously?
There was a Facebook live stream to where the dude, it was somebody I knew. He was talking about his wife cheating and stuff, and he opened up a closet, and so, like, I knew them. Like, in person, I knew them.
Okay.
So, like, that was why it was the worst thing I've seen, as far as, like, because it was somebody I knew. So it was a little different than just watching an actual video. I thought he was just going to talk about how she was cheating and stuff like that, dog her out a little bit, but I didn't know he was going to do that. As far as, like, what's on websites, though, oh man, there's so much messed up stuff. I really can't. I don't know the worst one, because there was some pretty bad stuff.
Now I gotta ask, is it cool if you take some questions from the audience? I'll pick them myself. So that's pretty much this live stream. If you do want to see the rest of it, which is about another hour of us answering questions from the audience, go ahead, check it out. The uncut, uncensored version is on Patreon, where you'll get to see my point of view, and you'll get to see the live chat. Now, there's also another version where this exact live stream you see me editing will in fact be uncensored. So you hear all the naughty words and all the bad words. Obviously, I don't want to put that up on YouTube, mostly because I know it's going to get 18 plus struck like that. And when a video gets 18 plus struck, pretty much what happens is YouTube just completely kills the momentum of the video. It doesn't go to anybody's front pages, and it goes nowhere, and it destroys attraction. Obviously, this is a big moment right now for the Mondo Gore community, and for this type of, deep web, dark web community, where you have TakeDownMan, the Godfather, coming back, and I do not want to destroy the traction of this video, so I'm taking all the precautions necessary. With that being said, if you do want to see the uncensored, uncut version where you'll see my point of view, it's on my Patreon. If you do want to see this exact interview but in full, Uncensored. That is also on my Patreon. With that being said, I am having another interview with TakeDownMan. Maybe in a week, maybe in 2 weeks. It's going to be incredibly controversial, maybe even damning. We're not sure. A lot of controversy has followed this man's name, and we are going to either be doing one of two things. Either proving it true or absolving him of a lot of things that have been getting said about him over the years from, just a lot of accusations, which I won't go into, which some of those accusations were talked about in this live stream towards the end via fan questions, which is why I kind of want to leave them out, because I want to compile them all into one big live stream so nothing's left out and nothing keeps on getting answered over and over. I want to get down to the nitty gritty of everything in one go, in one shot. No bullshitting. And thank you to TakeDownMan for showing up and showing out and coming out to my live stream. I mean, initially he said no. And then he said, you know what, maybe I'll give it a shot. Hopefully, things did turn out the way he wanted them to. Because essentially, we've been talking behind the scenes. He's been gathering a lot of evidence, proving and absolving himself of a lot of things said about him. Which is pretty dope, kind of to see, I would say, a little bit of a childhood hero, actually absolved of a lot of the bullshit said about him. That is pretty dope. But again, I'm going to have to play unbiased throughout this entire situation. And if the guy's in the wrong, the guy's in the wrong. But it's a tough thing to say. It's a tough thing to say. To be the judge, Jerry, and the executioner. It's a lot of weight on a person's shoulders, especially when it's a guy that you looked up to for many years. So with that being said, shout out to everybody showing up. We had like 500 people on the live stream. That was kick-ass. Hopefully we can do those same 300, 400, 500 people in the next one. Again, thank you to everybody showing up. Thank you to everybody showing out. Thank you to everybody supporting the Patreon, supporting me everywhere. I'm going to catch y'all later. Peace.